Yeah, hello everybody. I've been doing some reading. I have to say right at the outset, I am not an expert on this subject. I'm not well studied on it. I'm reasonably well read on it, but I've never done a study on achieving diversity, equity, and inclusion. I quite frankly had to do a lot of reading to understand what the words meant, let alone what they really mean to society. But I'm going to take a stab at this because, quite frankly, I'm very concerned about this subject. For since our founding as a nation, we've had this problem of lack of diversity and inclusion and equitable treatment of people. And no amount of legislation over these 240 years has solved it. So what the heck is missing here? Why can't, really reasonably smart human beings here figure this out? Well, it has a lot to do with bias, doesn't it? I have to use that word right at the beginning here, but it does. And legislation has also failed at eliminating that as well. It takes something different. But before I get into that, I'd urge you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll find many playlists there, and the one that you'll find this video on is in the playlist on entrepreneurship in action. And you'll find many others there on very topical issues that I try to cover. Subscribe, ask your questions, make your comments. I'll respond as well. But I think you'll find it very helpful to any of you who are starting a business or are part of a business as a leader and a manager. Try to be very helpful and try to make your careers a little bit more pleasant. But let's get back to DEI here. That's the abbreviation, by the way, DEI. So I'm asserting here today that a major contributor to the process of achieving diversity, equity, and inclusion is committed leadership. People like you and me and many others who are in executive positions, leadership positions, lower level managers, team leaders of projects. It takes a special kind of leadership to deal with this issue. It takes a commitment to deal with it in the first place, to recognize it in and of yourself that you may have certain biases that are preventing the achievement of diversity and inclusion. But this has got to be done by the very best people that you can find who are proven leaders, who can also train other leaders to become the best of the best. But these are really people kind of people that enjoy working with people, engaging with people, are very effective at it, and quite frankly, by their very presence, achieve relationships with people within a company or within society in general that make them kind of stand out as leaders, people worth listening to, people that you come to know and you say, I really like this person. I like what they are as people. I like what they say. I respect them. All of these kinds of characteristics. These are the kinds of people throughout society and within business that are going to be the ones that really deal with this issue and step up to it. And quite frankly, not set it aside for somebody else to handle or for our Congress, our senators, and any other politician on the face of the earth is going to solve for you. So in business, what this starts with is having a culture of inclusion and diversity and equity. Like any culture, it's founded in a mission, a vision of the company and where it's headed, what it's going to try to achieve in the near-term period of time. It's a place where mutual trust, a really big deal here, mutual trust amongst the people within the company, manager to employee, executives to managers, people to people, team leaders to team members, mutual trust throughout the company. You can be sure a lot of good things are going to happen if you have built with your culture mutual trust within your company. It will be amazing. The results you will get will be astounding. It's a safe place also, a place of safety, a place of openness, a willingness to listen to others, and a culture of mutual, not only the mutual trust, but mutual confidence and mutual respect. When you have mutual trust, teamwork emerges. So it starts with the trust, but what you're truly trying to pull together is a company-wide team guided by this culture, achieving the vision and mission, but with this mutual respect that is the underlying cause for this all to happen. And then this is a team also that is committed personally and as an organization to achieving unbiased diversity, equity, and inclusion. They talk about it openly. They admit their mistakes. We all have our own difficulties with this subject. Be open about it. Be committed to addressing issues that you may have caused in a very open way, and move on and make the corrections in your behavior and in your leadership accordingly. But people have to be committed to actually achieving, without bias, diversity and equity and inclusion. And quite frankly, a whole lot faster than we've been able to do it so far. In fact, we really haven't done much at all over the last 50 years, let alone 240. So what are the qualities of the leaders that we're talking about? So I put up 7 qualities of leadership here that you look for in people that you put in leadership positions. Quite frankly, these are qualities of people in general, but especially the leadership of the company or leadership within society as well. First of all, they're strong listeners. These are the kind of people that shut off that part of their brain that is trying to think of a response every time somebody says something to them, shuts that off and turns on listening, taking in what the other person is saying, trying to understand what they're saying. And if they don't, ask a question for further understanding. If they still don't, ask again. So you go through this little repetitive process. Hopefully it's not too long before you get it. But you listen, listen, listen. And once you got it, then you respond. Respond appropriately. One of the appropriate ways to respond is to respond with empathy. Part of your listening was not only you're listening for the content or the issue is that this person is talking about, you're trying to understand also where the heck are they coming from? Why are they saying it in this tone of voice? Why are they saying it this way? What's underlying all of this with respect to them? So you're listening for clarity and you're listening empathetically, trying to understand them. Those are a couple of great qualities of a leader. One who can listen, understand, and respond. A leader is also compassionate. They show compassion. They're open about being, reflecting a little bit of compassion and understanding and sharing their thoughts on issues that teams of people are working on or people in general personally are working on. So being compassionate, being known as a compassionate person is pretty important. It makes you approachable. They know that you're going to be a thoughtful person when they listen to what you have to say. Good leaders also have a certain amount of vulnerability. That's a strange one, isn't it? They're vulnerable. That means their openness is pretty open. They're willing to share things about themselves, their own experiences, their own difficulties, how they dealt with challenges in their life, personal life as well as business life. So they open themselves up, and when you do that, people are going to see a lot more of you, and you're open to perhaps criticism, but you're open to more questions, perhaps good ones. So being vulnerable is probably a good thing. It helps to build trust. A good leader is curious. That's a strange one, isn't it? They're curious. They're the kind of people that say, hey, how you doing today? And once you answer it, they're going to take your answer and ask you another question about how you doing today? That's interesting. How did you do that? What did you learn from that? So when they engage you, you know you're in for a conversation, not just, oh, I'm fine, and move on. Fine, how are you? And move on. That's not what they're up to. Curiosity overcomes them, and very positively so. That's a good characteristic to have. It means you're an engaging person, and you do it in a caring kind of way. You're positive, you're really inquisitive, and you're You're showing your curiosity. Uh, in the technical world, your curiosity could go right into the depths of what somebody's building. How are they coding up a website or coding an application for the phone, whatever. Curiosity matters. They're kind people. Kindness shows through. And they take the time to show their kindness. Do you a favor, give you a compliment. One of these walk arounds like we're talking about where they're being curious but they're being kind at the same time and complimenting you on something you've done in your personal life. Kindness shows through. It builds trust. All of these things actually build trust. They're grateful. They're grateful for your accomplishments. They're grateful for your sacrifice, grateful for the hard work that you've done, and they tell you so. That's what you want to hear. It keeps morale up. Grateful. Be grateful. Okay, there's 7. Guess what? I got 7 more. And you don't know, do I have 7 more after that? I'll quit at 14 here. Other qualities. Positive people. Upbeat. They're fun to be around. Their positiveness oozes from them. They're kind of characters. They're out of the ordinary in their positiveness. Having a really positive attitude matters. As a leader, if you have a positive attitude, it's infectious. Others will return a positive attitude and be inspired by your positive viewpoint of things. You see the bright side of things. Good leaders are aware. They have a great sense of awareness. And many of these other qualities support that, and that they want to be aware. What the heck is going on around here? What's going on with you? They want to know. Why? Because they want to fix it. They want to deal with it because it may hurt others. If it's hurting you, it could be hurting others. So they want to be aware of you as people. They want to be aware of teams and how they're doing. They want to be aware of what customers are doing and what partners are doing. This awareness is pretty widespread. Being aware is a sign of a good leader. They know stuff because they took the time to find out, become aware. Similar to what I've said earlier, they're very engaging, outgoing people. They're gregarious in their personal lives. They have lots of outside activities, lots of family activities. They have lots of friends because people like them, want to be around them. And the same goes for inside the company. Engaging people matter. They make good leaders. Hey, there's also straight talkers too. When asked a question, they give you a straight answer. And they do it quickly, concisely, accurately, to the best of their ability. They don't walk around the barn 3 times to hem and haw about the answer to the question. They get right to it. And then might ask you, is that answer what you were asking me? Because they want to make sure that their answer got through. So people appreciate straightforwardness. So a good leader is a straight talker. They're caring people. They care about others. Honestly care about others. It oozes from them. They're generally nice people. They're nice, and they show it by showing that they care for you as people. Their honesty is also goes straight along with their straight talking. When they give answers, they're to the best of their ability, trying to answer your question as best they know how with an honest, straightforward answer. It's honest. And this honesty is never broken. Any breach of honesty is really a nail in the coffin of your culture. So continue the honesty throughout your relationships, throughout the company. They're also confident. They ooze confidence. Their body language, the way they talk, the way they engage oozes confidence. Not afraid of much of anything. In fact, they enjoy the engagement with people. They thrive on it. Confidence really matters. So I'm going to stop at 14. I actually could do 14 more. And I bet you could too. Think about the qualities of good leaders. And if you want to be a good leader, do you have many, if not all of these qualities that make a good leader. When you're growing up in a business and want to become a leader and a manager, these are the kinds of qualities that are going to make you the best of the best. The best of the best are the people that are going to really deal with this, achieving diversity, equity, and inclusion in society and in business. I truly believe this is where it's really got to be. People just got to step up to it one by one, en masse. The majority of the people in America and in American business dealing with this in a straightforward way, without bias, and dealing with the conscious bias that goes on every day, stopping it in its tracks, in the moment, with coaching and clarity, and with some of these leadership qualities that make it not sting too hard. But we've got to stop the conscious bias. We also got to stop the unconscious bias. That comes from us in recognizing that, we grew up a certain way with certain characteristics and certain behavior with respect to minorities and women and foreign people, Latinos and Asians. We all have attitudes about these people. Some of us, I would say, me too. I'm trying to point my fingers at anyone. I pointed at myself. And we all got to deal with our own unconscious bias and actively prevent it, overcome it by recognizing it in the first place. Some people will be kind enough to point it out to you, and you'll have one of those aha moments. Geez, I didn't realize I was coming across that way. That's really not what I meant by it, but it sounded that way, didn't it? You'll probably have a lot of life moments like that if you haven't already. If you haven't already, maybe you're not listening. So deal with the bias that we all have, certain amounts of. And I think if we all do that, we won't need a whole lot of legislation to create the diversity and the equity and the inclusion that we would like to see, that is fair for everybody in the business world as well as in society in general. So that's my rant for the day. Achieving diversity and equity and inclusion, a subject that I'm learning more and more about every day. It takes leadership to accomplish it, is my opinion. And you have a company that has the kind of leadership that's able to provide the kind of culture that the company should have and the qualities of the leaders this company should have in order to achieve diversity, equity, and inclusion. With that thought, I hope you have a great day.